What's up, my people? What is up? Yo, it's been a minute. Happy New Year to you. J-Stogs, the Buff Nerd, let's go. Is in the building, is in the house. Yo, it's like I said, it's been a minute. A lot has happened, but I'm so glad that you're here joining us. I told you I'd be back. That's for you, big game. I know you have some words, but that's all good. Look, new year, new things kind of happening, same things, but yo, we're here. I'm here for it. So glad you could join in. Make sure that you like, subscribe, share. You can catch me and catch this on Spotify, as well as Amazon and wherever you listen to your podcast on those platforms. Of course, on YouTube, and the like. But I'm telling you, I'm excited. There's a lot of things going. There's a lot of things happening. You know, the Buff Nerd. I got the nerd side. I got the sports side. We're gonna keep it rolling. We talk all things nerd, and there have been some happenings and some rumblings. I gotta jump into this as it stated. Hey, let me do this first. Shout out and many prayers up for those on the West Coast, especially California. Like I said, LA. Big prayers, big shout outs to y'all. Stay safe. I'm seeing a lot of California plays here in Texas, so I know you're coming this way. A lot of loss, things out there. So just keep up the faith and many blessings to you. Now, let's get into it. Before we get into the nerd stuff, I got to talk some sports stuff. And we're going to have, of course, Big Game Sports Buzz tomorrow, 9 o'clock. You know, we're going to talk Cowboys and everything around that because they just can't get out of their way. Mike McCarthy is out after they said, hey, we're going to see what happens. Man, look, that's just the Cowboys way. And I've told you this before. Until Jerry Jones finally makes that great ascension, and nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm here for it. The Mavs basketball season is in. Luka's out. He's officially now not eligible and ineligible for any end of year awards. Kind of crazy, but hey, rules, I guess. I don't know, man. This is crazy. I get the management and all that other stuff as far as the body, but we got to change the rule. Come on. If you're legitimately like hurt, let's do something better. But yo, this is the Buff Nerd Podcast. Let's talk nerd. I just finished Landman. And of course, make sure that you like, subscribe, put that thumbs up. That helps put me in your algorithm, telling your friends, your family, and of course your frenemies, because hey, without the hate, we don't elevate. But I just finished Landman. I think Billy Bob Thornton is my favorite actor right now. I think he is. Look, if you haven't heard about this show, it takes place in Texas, mainly in the oil basin, Odessa, Permian, and some parts in Fort Worth. So, big shout out to the Funky, aka Panther City, aka Funky Town, for sure. Fort Party Worth, know what it is. Got to shout that out. But yeah, it takes place there as well. But you have a landman who works for an oil company, and what he does is he negotiates leases and oil and land and people, and I mean it's just a phenomenal show. Everything about it is just great. The cast is fantastic. Um, this is not a show I believe that disappoints. I'll tell you one thing that kind of surprised me. This is an MTV show. MTV has been putting out some really good stuff. But Landman is something you definitely need to catch. And again, Billy Bob Thornton, this guy needs an Emmy. This guy needs some hardware. He is definitely my new favorite dude. So make sure you check out Landman. Hey, hit me up in the comments. Tell me what you think. Is Billy Bob your new guy? Is that your do you want to see him in some more stuff like this? I think he's best work is now TV. Film is cool, whatever, but this is where his best work is. Definitely a go-to. Another show that I just hit up on. Actually, I just finished right before I raced in here. Skeleton Crew. So, Skeleton Crew is a Star Wars show by Disney, and actually put on Disney Plus. it has really nothing to do with the lore or canon. But I will say this: it is a kids show. Let's be real about it. But it's a really good show. It has heart, has some stuff in there. You're like, oh, okay, all right. It's not too bad. Skeleton Crew is a really good show. I enjoyed it. Good characters, even though again, it's kiddies. So there's some moments where like, look, I need you to man up and need you know what I'm saying? Not cry so much. Good show though. Really enjoyed it. Skeleton Crew is another show that I think you'll really enjoy. If you're into just a good story, don't really get caught up into the Star Wars and the lightsabers and all of that. You're not gonna get a lot of that. That's not what this is. It's just really kind of an introduction into, I don't know, space and kids. And here's an idea that you got a planet that's off on its own. Hmm. All right, novel idea. So yeah, definitely something to look into as a good show. Some people are going to bash it because they have hate in their heart, and I don't understand that. This is not a show to have hate in your heart. It's a good show. So check that out. The next thing I've been doing here is, TV has really kind of gone the way of reality shows, and I don't watch a lot of reality shows except for sports. That's about the only reality show. And I just found out that my daughter's into wrestling, like really into wrestling, like wants to go to Monday Night Raw, which is great. And she has her favorite character. Um, that's cool with me. I love it actually because I grew up old school. My favorite guy was Coco Beware. That's right, the Birdman. He didn't get a lot of heat, and it's okay because he is what he is. He was what he was. But that was my guy. Coco Beware was definitely a dude. I love JYD, Junkyard Dog. Harlem Heat. See, I knew him as Ebony Express when they used to wrestle here in Texas. But yeah, Ebony Express, aka Harlem Heat, and then of course Booker T. Man, I like The Rock when he was first The Rock, and then he became something else. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Chris Adams, Tony Atlas, the Black Superman. I go on and on. I absolutely love wrestling. And we're going to have to get with my guy on Two Birds, One Show, Matt. He is definitely a wrestling guy, and he watches all the new stuff as well, the WWE as well as AEW. We're gonna get with that, especially on the Buff Nerd podcast. So a Wednesday, Matt, if you ever watch, hey, bro, come on in. We'll have fun. But that's definitely something to get into. But I started to rewatch the MCU. For those who don't know what that is, that's the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So there's a debate, of course, of which way to watch it, either chronologically, i.e., from the first Avenger, right? Captain America, first Avenger, and then following it on, which would be Marvel, Captain Marvel, because that takes place around like the 80s, 90s, and then kind of following it on from there. Or you can actually watch it by the release date. So the debate is, well, if you watch it by chronologically, you actually can't watch the end credits because it's out of place. And there are references that actually take place chronologically that you won't get because it's done by release. So what I did was I actually went back by release, right? And the first one, of course, is Iron Man, and you have the Incredible Hulk. Now, this Incredible Hulk is not the Garofalo Incredible Hulk. This is the other guy, Norton. I don't like him. I didn't like his Hulk. That's just me. I didn't like it. But that's who you got. You got Iron Man 2, and you got Captain America, the first Avenger, and then you have the Avengers, right? And that's phase one as it was released. Now, I'll say this. I've enjoyed it, and it's been one of those things where I didn't notice this, but I noticed it when I got to Captain America, the first Avenger. Man, it's really like gory. like Captain America: First Avenger is really gory. Like people are like dying by propeller. That's crazy to me. Like they actually die. There's blood. There's guts. They don't just poof. Unlike DC, where no one dies. But here, you actually have people dying, and I think that's why I like Marvel, and maybe that's why I'm sick. I can get that. I'm a sick person. But watching this in release order, with the exception of Black Widow. Black Widow actually takes place after Civil War, so you got to watch that. Then, if you wanted to kind of tie and make sense, because when they released it, it was kind of like, why are they releasing it now? It's way later than when they should have, because let's see, Black Widow was actually released in Phase 4, but Civil War actually was Phase 2, Phase 3, Phase 3. Yeah, Phase 3. So it was actually at the beginning of Phase 3. So yeah, Black Widow should have came out. Then it came out in the middle of Phase 4. A lot had happened by that time. You're like, wait a minute, this is so out of sync. Even if you tried to pose it as a flashback, and look, it took me a minute to get through it. I'm not even gonna lie, I kind of slept through it a couple of times. I pushed through though. I did push through. But there are things also that I noticed throughout the MCU that I didn't notice before. And again, when you start picking it up and saying, oh, well, that person was here and that person was there, and there's the tie-in. So rewatch the MCU. I would suggest you rewatch it not by chronologically, not by the timeline within the movie, but actually by the release date, because you can also enjoy the end credits. That would be my suggestion. You do that. Go back. Tell me what you think in the comments. Hey, Jay, you're full of crap. Whatever. You got to watch it timeline wise, chronologically, or watch it by release date. But this is definitely the one that I would suggest, is that you watch it that way. We've kind of talked about Captain America, the new trailer that's out. That movie should be dropping here. Really is dropping this month. I'm excited to go see it. Don't know if America is excited to see it. What are your comments? What do you think? Do you think America's ready for this Captain America? You think it's going to do well at the box office, or not so much? There hasn't been a lot of buzz, especially since the new Superman trailer dropped. And I'll be honest with that. We'll talk about that here in a second. But I really am curious to see how this Captain America is going to do. I'm going to go watch it because it's MCU. And look, I'm a Marvel fanboy. I know what I am. I'm okay with it, right? You are who you are, and that's awesome too. But I'm telling you what I'm telling you what I'm seeing. This should be a really good movie. You have really big players in this, and I want to see how it's going to tie into that next phase. Marvel has come out and Disney has come out and said that they're only releasing 3 movies a year. So this is the one that they say, hey, this is what's going to start us off basically in this new phase, right? And so you have that. What also pushes us is the what if. Now, this is What If season 3, which is the final season. I've seen all episodes. The last episode was probably the best for me. The last, and then the second to last was like the best, because here you have Storm finally makes her debut or return, however you want to think about it, into the MCU. And it's more like a Thor Storm. So it's like, wow, okay, she's the goddess of lightning. All right, and all things weather. Okay, sure. Will I see that in the MCU, in the actual cinematic universe? Yeah, I need to see that, especially when it comes to the new Black Panther, which it has been confirmed, of course, that Denzel is going to be there. But there's also been some leaks and some confirmations of the role he's going to play, which seems like is going to be fantastic. And hey, we may even get to see a teenager T'Challa, right? Prince T'Challa, and maybe a Storm. Who knows? They need to do that. If they don't, I'm telling you, Coogler, I know you already have it written out. I know you've already started production. Do that, please. Bring Storm and Prince T'Challa together. Look, I understand about Njiri and the whole book and all of that. Fantastic, great. But you gotta bring the heroes back. At some point in time, you can't have everybody in the skirt saving everybody. You gotta bring the heroes back as well. Okay? So bring them back. I'm waiting for it. Bring Prince T'Challa back. You've had plenty of time. He's grown up. He can start finding his way. That would be a great Black Panther. I didn't watch Agatha all along because I didn't think I needed to. And realistically, no one has said, hey, you really need to watch that. So I'm not going to watch that. I'm not going to watch that. I thought about it just right now. I'm not going to watch that. So here you have the new Captain America that's coming out. Should be fantastic. You got Red Hulk, which means, are we going to see Green Hulk? You got the Secret Society that's also going to be here in this movie. What Esposito, who calls it D'Esposito, who we know him from Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, and he's been he's been all over the place, and this is an actor. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do in this movie as well. Here's the thing I'd say about movies like this. If you don't have a good villain, you're not going to have a good hero. It's just not going to work. The Batman movies really showed us that, right? When you have Heath Ledger, you have a Christian Bale that is even better. And I think he's one of the best Batmans there, right? That played Batman, one of the better actors that played Batman. I still will never give Ben Affleck the go for it. He's just a bad Batman. He just is, okay? I don't care what you say. He's just a bad actor. So there you have Heath Ledger, great foil for Batman. You have to have a great bad villain, right? Ed Hardy, when he played Bane, awesome. Bane was great. Everyone will tell you Bane was the best character in there. Yeah, awesome, great. That made that Batman even better. Because here's the thing about superhero movies and what makes comics so good, especially the MCU. You gotta believe that, you know what? They might die. They may not win. Which brings me back to the MCU and why people will tell you the two best movies, especially this second one, why it was so good, was Infinity War, right? That was an Endgame. Infinity War and Endgame, and to me, Civil War. Civil War was so good because now, again, you don't know which side is going to win, who's really for truth and who's not. But you want to bump heads and you love to see that conflict because, again, who's going to win? It's actual doubt. When you look at these DCEU movies, you know who's going to win. You know who's going to lose. It's just a matter of, when it's going to happen, right? So definitely looking forward to that. This is going to be something good. I'm telling you, it's going to be definitely something good. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I don't want to say that because I don't like this guy, but it's beautiful. It's nice. It's nice. That's nice. Look. If you know, you know. Please don't let them get into your algorithms. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be really good. Come back on when it gets released. We're going to chat about it. Hit me up in the chat, whether it's now or later. We'll talk about that. We'll discuss the brand new Captain America movie. The Superman movie comes out in July. Of course, everyone knows July 11. Look up, which is a play on the first original Superman movie with Christopher Reeves, when the tagline was, "You will believe a man can fly." So yeah, it's it harkens back to some of that original stuff and nostalgia. Even looking at his uniform, his costume, or whatever you want to call it, harkens back to some of the older stuff there. But This is going to be really good. I'm really looking forward to it. So, as I'm going through that, I got to get back into my anime. This season, Dr. Stone season 4, New World, has started up again. If you have not watched Dr. Stone, this is an amazing anime. This is an anime that deals with you have a scientist kid in a high school, and really the whole world turns to stone. He breaks out and he shows you how to use science to overcome obstacles. And it's so you actually learn while you're watching anime. It's ingenious, it's diabolical, but it's so fantastic. And he levels up, so it's so great. Dr. Stone is one that I'm the new season 4 is out. So go ahead, check that out. If you haven't seen it, and I'm sure I mentioned it, but Kaiju number 8 is finished, of course, waiting on the second season. That's a great anime. It's a new one. Check out Kaiju number 8. New season of My Happy Marriage is out. That's on Netflix, and it's dubbed, so you don't have to read any of the subtitles or anything like that. Check that out. It's really good. It has a sci-fi kick, but you don't know it. It's really about relationships, and it's a really good anime. And look, I'm not the type, you know, cry, and I don't. But this is a really good anime that you should check out. My Happy Marriage on Netflix. Another one that has just started, actually is already going, Shangri-La Frontier. This is one that I've really enjoyed. Um, it's about a kid who likes to play quote unquote trash games in a VR system. And now he's really getting involved in this one particular game, Shangri-La Frontier. And so check that one out. I think you really enjoyed that anime. It's a news. They're in the middle of this season right now. Another one that I'm so glad they finally got the second season for. And if you haven't checked this one out, this is a go to. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you're into. If you're into action, this is it. Sci-fi, this is it. Solo Leveling. Solo Leveling is now in its second season. The first season was phenomenal. Basic premise: the guy is an E level, which is the lowest level of gamer. Um, and now he's actually gone into a dungeon where he's started to level up. Now, once you get your level, you don't change. But here, he's actually able to change his level, his levels, and no one knows how he's able to do it. It actually changes his appearance, the way he walks, the way he talks, how he fights, everything about him. He can actually level up his stats. Now, look, if I was able to do that, man, whew, what would you level up? That's a great question. Put it in the chat. What would you level up if you had the chance to do so? Speed, height, strength, aggressiveness? I mean, what would you level up? I think that's amazing. But Solo Leveling is here, second season. 2 episodes are already out. Check that one out. That's really good. Um, I've enjoyed watching that one. Um, let's see, what's another one that we got going on? Dandanan. So on Dandanan is actually on Crunchyroll and as well as Netflix. I've heard some really good things about that. I'm going to get into it, but I'm like I said, I'm finishing up other stuff. I just got into Yellowstone. I know, I know. Okay, I'm going to get into Yellowstone some more. I'm only 3 episodes in, but Yellowstone is the truth. Kevin Costner, man, he's what he is. Okay, but I really like that show. Had some people watch 1923, absolutely rave about it, and they say it doesn't matter which one you watch, just watch it. So I'm going into Yellowstone, and then I'll head back to 1923 to check that one out. But I'm really loving that show as well. Um, Dragon Ball Z Dama, I haven't watched that one yet. So tell me what you think about it. If you're into that and if you watch it. I don't know. I fell out of love with Dragon Ball Z a long time ago. it just seems like the same thing. And they have a new game out as well. I don't know. Just I'm just not there anymore. Um, but I'm okay with that. It does not bother me. Um, so yeah. The other one that I just watched was Berserk. That was oof. Hold on to your drawers because that one is it goes there. It definitely goes there. But if you're okay, if you're grown enough, check out Berserk. I think it'll surprise you. I think that's the only word I can really say, a phrase I can say about it. It will surprise you. Um, but yeah, solo leveling, Berserk the Golden Age Memorial Edition. That's the one I was watching. Overlord. There was a movie that came out. I'm waiting for it to hit Crunchyroll. It should be coming out pretty soon. But there is a new one for Overlord. If you haven't watched Overlord, this is another one where a kid gets sucked into a game at the end of its run, and now he's living in this game. But he's very OP, right? So definitely check that one out. Ayaka is another good one that's out there. And My Hero Academia finished up, so I finished that one out, and it's been good. That's since we last talked, since I was last on here. So those are some animes, a pretty good list of what's out there right now. But check those out. I think you're going to really enjoy those when it comes to that genre. Um, Reading some new books. Went to this past December, and yeah, it's been that long. Gosh, this past December, went to Anime Frontier here in Fort Worth. I'll definitely be at the Houston Comic Palooza in May. So if you see me, holler at me. We'll take some pictures. Okay. Usually I do cosplay with my daughter. We have a good time, me and my boy as well. So we'll have a good time out there. But when I got there, I checked out this book right here, Chayoma, um, Curse of the Jungara. This one right here is actually written by some African brothers. Uh, and I say African, but Nigerian brothers. It definitely worth a read. This is volume 2. I've already read volume 1. So I'm hoping to get them on to talk about creation and everything like that. But check that out. There's some new books out there. Corey Kenshin has put out a book himself. So I'm getting that. He actually put out like a 30, I think it was like a minute, it was about a minute long anime to promote his manga. If the anime is anything like the manga, fire. So definitely check that out. Monsters We Are, I believe is the name of it. So that's going to be a good one. There's just a lot of good stuff coming out. I'm really excited to be back in the chair. Tonight is just a hit, it was a real small hit and quick, right? Real quick to get back in front of you. Listen, the Buff Nerd needs y'all, okay? We need our community to come back out and start talking about all the stuff that's here because there's some great stuff that's happening, not only on screen, the big one and the small one, but also in the pages. Hit me up. Let me know what you're watching, what you're reading, what's good, because I want to listen to it. I want to listen to it. I want to watch it and I want to read it and pass it on to other people, to my community, to your community, to our community. So I'm the Buff Nerd. Check me out tomorrow with Big Game James. We're going to be discussing sports and all things around it. Of course, the Cowboys, the playoffs, MVP race, NBA, and what is going on. Whew, for real. With AJ Brown. I need to get some books. I'm gonna go get some more books to read. Yo, I'm J-Stogs. It's a Buff Nerd. Peace.